Your identity. Some nights, lying awake, you wonder what life might have been like if things were different. If you had gone to school. If you had played. If someone had protected you. These thoughts are fleeting and quickly pushed aside. Thinking too much only leads to pain. Society will one day look back on this era with horror. Books will be written. Reforms will be praised. Children will be protected in ways you never were. But you will not live to see most of that change. And even if you do, the damage will already be done. Your childhood has been consumed by labor, your innocence traded for survival. You are not a symbol or a lesson. You are a person who endured something no child should have to endure. Your life as a Victorian child laborer is not defined by a single tragedy, but by thousands of small, relentless ones, repeated day after day, until they shape everything you are. And still, tomorrow comes, demanding the same strength, the same silence, the same sacrifice. Streets, attend school, read books, and discuss morality. Newspapers praise industrial growth and national strength. When child labor is mentioned, it is often framed as unfortunate but necessary. Your suffering is acknowledged only in abstract terms, stripped of its daily reality. You are an idea, not a person. If laws are passed to protect children like you, their impact is slow and uneven. Factory owners find loopholes. Inspectors are bribed or misled. Ages are falsified. Work continues much as before. Change exists mostly on paper. In your daily life, nothing feels different. You still wake in darkness. You still work until your body trembles. Emotionally, you struggle to form attachments. Friendships are fragile because people disappear so often. Siblings may die young from illness or accidents. Grief becomes something you swallow quickly, because there is no time to process it. Crying does not stop work. Mourning does not pay rent. You learn to compartmentalize loss, locking it away where it cannot interfere with survival. For some children, punishment follows them home. Parents, stressed and desperate, may take out their frustration on you. Not always out of cruelty, but out of exhaustion and fear. Poverty erodes patience. Love exists, but it is strained and inconsistent. You understand that everyone is drowning, and no one has the strength to save anyone else. As adolescence passes, opportunities remain scarce. Without education or connections, your options are limited to the same labor that has already worn you down. Dreams of escape feel naive. Even imagining a different future feels like a betrayal of reality. You tell yourself this is simply how life is. Your sense of self is shaped by utility. You are what you can produce. When you are productive, you feel briefly safe. When you are not, anxiety creeps in. Rest feels undeserved. Idleness feels dangerous. Even on rare days off, your body struggles to relax. Stillness makes you uneasy. Work has become. As you grow older, the weight of years spent working begins to reveal consequences that no one warned you about. Your body, forced into labor before it was ready, carries damage that cannot be undone. Your joints ache even when you are still young. Your fingers are stiff and crooked from repetitive motion. Breathing feels shallow, as if your lungs never fully expand. You do not know medical terms like chronic illness or occupational disease, but you know what it feels like to wake up tired and go to sleep even more exhausted. The adults around you are not examples of hope. Older workers move slowly, bent and hollow-eyed. They cough constantly, their hands shaking as they work. Many of them began as child laborers too, and now you see your future reflected in their bodies. There is no retirement waiting for them, no safety net. When they can no longer work, they are discarded. This knowledge settles quietly into your mind. You understand that your value ends when your body does. Psychologically, the constant pressure reshapes how you think. You learn to measure time not in years but in shifts. Life becomes a series of hours to be endured rather than experienced. Joy feels dangerous, because it distracts you. Curiosity feels pointless, because there is no reward for it. You become highly sensitive to authority, always alert to tone changes, footsteps, or raised voices. This hypervigilance keeps you alive but steals your peace. Discipline in Victorian workplaces is brutal and intentional. Supervisors believe fear creates efficiency, and they are rarely challenged. Children are beaten for mistakes, lateness, or simply being in the way. Sometimes punishment is arbitrary, meant to remind everyone who holds power. You learn not to question, not to hesitate, not to look anyone important in the eye. Obedience becomes instinctive, deeply ingrained. Outside the factory or mine, society moves on without noticing you. Middle-class families walk clean. Many child laborers remain small and frail for life. As the years pass, time blurs together. Days are identical. Work, exhaustion, sleep, repeat. There are no milestones, no celebrations. Birthdays go unnoticed. Seasons are marked not by weather but by workload. When demand increases, hours grow longer. 12-hour days become 14. Sometimes more. Child labor laws exist in theory, but enforcement is weak. Inspectors are rare, and factories hide children when they arrive. Psychologically, you adapt in ways that help you survive but harm you long-term. You suppress emotions. You detach from pain. You learn not to hope too much, because hope hurts when it is crushed. Trust becomes difficult. Authority figures represent danger, not safety. Even kindness feels suspicious. Death is common enough that it loses its shock. Children disappear from work one day and never return. Some are injured. Some are killed. Some starve. Their absence is noted briefly, then forgotten. You learn that life is fragile and cheap. This knowledge settles deep inside you, shaping how you see yourself and the world. If you are a girl, your experience carries additional dangers. Factories and workshops are male-dominated spaces where power is absolute. Harassment is common. Abuse is rarely punished. Speaking out risks losing your job or worse. Silence becomes another survival skill. Your body is not fully your own, and you learn this lesson early. By adolescence, you feel old. Your body is worn. Your hands are calloused and scarred. Your lungs struggle. Your back aches constantly. You have spent your formative years in environments designed to extract labor, not nurture growth. The idea of a different life feels abstract, almost unreal. You cannot imagine comfort because you have never known it. Society rarely sees you as a victim. Instead, you are praised as hardworking, resilient, and useful. There is no counseling, no time to grieve. Work resumes as soon as possible. Death is treated as an inconvenience. Above ground, the world talks about progress. Factories mean wealth. Railways mean advancement. The British Empire grows stronger. But none of this progress reaches you. You are not part of the celebration. You are the cost of it. Your suffering is hidden behind brick walls and underground tunnels, far from polite society. Emotionally, you grow up fast and broken. There is no space for imagination. Play is replaced by vigilance. You learn to read moods quickly, especially anger. Supervisors use violence freely. A slow child is beaten. A distracted child is whipped. Punishment is public, meant to terrify others into obedience. Fear becomes a tool of management, and it works well. You move quickly, silently, carefully, always aware that a mistake could mean pain or unemployment, both of which threaten survival. Education is a distant dream. Some children attend Sunday schools, but exhaustion makes learning difficult. Letters blur together when your eyes burn from lack of sleep. Books feel irrelevant when your body aches constantly. Many employers actively discourage education, fearing it will make children disobedient. Knowledge is dangerous. Ignorance keeps you compliant. At home, your parents are not villains, though it may feel that way. They are trapped too. Poverty gives them impossible choices. Your wages, small as they are, help keep the family alive. Without your income, rent cannot be paid. Food cannot be bought. Guilt becomes part of your emotional landscape. You learn to believe that your suffering is necessary, even noble. You convince yourself that enduring pain makes you valuable. Meals are sparse and repetitive. Bread, watery soup, sometimes potatoes. Meat is rare. Hunger is constant but normalized. You stop expecting to feel full. Malnutrition weakens your body, making illness more likely and injuries slower to heal. Growth is stunted. Retrieving fallen cotton while the equipment continues running. Stopping the machines wastes time, and time is money. Your fingers move quickly, but not always quickly enough. When accidents happen, they happen suddenly. A slip, a loose sleeve, a moment of fatigue, and flesh meets iron. Screams are common, but the machines do not stop for screams. Pain becomes a familiar companion. Cuts, bruises, and burns are part of daily life. Serious injuries might earn you a few days off, but more often, you are expected to return as soon as you can stand. If you lose a finger, you learn to work with fewer fingers. If your back begins to ache constantly, you work hunched over anyway. Complaints are punished. Crying is mocked. Weakness is treated as moral failure. The air inside factories is thick with dust and fibers that coat your lungs. You cough often, deep wet coughs that never seem to go away. Breathing becomes difficult as the years pass, but no one explains why. Doctors are expensive and reserved for the wealthy. Illness is seen as bad luck or personal failure. If you become too sick to work, you are easily replaced. There are always more children. If your fate places you in the mines instead, darkness defines your world. You descend deep underground before sunrise, carrying small lamps that barely cut through the blackness. The tunnels are narrow, forcing you to crawl or crouch for hours. Your job may be to haul heavy carts of coal, open ventilation doors, or carry messages through the tunnels. The weight strains your growing bones. Your knees ache. Your spine bends unnaturally. Many children develop permanent deformities before reaching adulthood. The mines are dangerous in ways you cannot fully understand. Gas leaks, collapses, and flooding are constant threats. When accidents occur, they often kill dozens at once. Bodies are crushed, buried, or suffocated in complete darkness. Survivors carry the trauma silently. The year is somewhere in the middle of the 19th century, and you are born not into comfort or childhood innocence, but into necessity. From the moment you are old enough to stand without falling, your life already belongs to work. You are a Victorian child laborer, though no one around you uses such words. To them, you are simply another small pair of hands in a world that runs on exhaustion. Childhood, as later generations will imagine it, does not exist for you. There are no protected years meant for learning or play. There is only survival, and survival demands labor. You wake before the sun rises, often before your body has fully rested from the previous day. Sleep is shallow and short, interrupted by hunger, cold, or the noise of overcrowded rooms. Your home, if it can be called that, is usually a single dark space shared with siblings, parents, and sometimes strangers. The air smells of dampness, sweat, and smoke. Beds are rare. Straw-filled mattresses or bare wooden floors are common. You learn early that comfort is a luxury meant for other people. By the time you are 5 or 6 years old, work is already expected of you. Your small size is not seen as a weakness but as an advantage. Factory owners, mine supervisors, and workshop masters look at children like you and see efficiency. You can crawl into narrow spaces adults cannot reach. You require less pay. You are easier to control. Your fear keeps you obedient, and your exhaustion keeps you quiet. No one asks whether you want this life. Wanting is irrelevant. If you work in a textile mill, your day begins with the scream of machinery. The sound is constant, violent, and inescapable. Massive looms shake the building, belts whip through the air, and gears grind without mercy. The noise is so loud that conversation becomes impossible. Over time, it damages your hearing, but no one considers this a problem. You are stationed near fast-moving machines.